Howdy, everyone. We're back for some more live writing. Today is technically a day off, but eh, who really takes time off? Um, there's a whole bunch of stuff to get done this week. I am wrapping up my story, and I'm going to be jumping into uh, edits this week, which makes me a little bit nervous. I don't I don't particularly transition very well between editing and writing. So I'm going to have to find some system to keep myself going, or I'm going to lose my mind. I'm uploading some videos for work. So yeah, that's been the big thing going on. Last week we had our 5 nights of panels with the superhero fiction folk, and that was actually quite awesome. Trish is going to be joining us shortly. We'll see who else we can get in on this shindig. Franklin should be coming in shortly, I'm sure, once he wakes his butt up. But the panels went awesome. There were so many cool authors in there. Like a little bit intimidated because some of them, a couple of them, have like 40, 50 or more books out. They're super successful. Like there are definitely authors in there that were way more successful than me. But it was just cool because everyone just kind of came together and we got to talk shop. We got to be a little goofy. We got to argue. I feel like I understand people a little bit better. So I guess from a networking standpoint, it was awesome. We had some great audience feedback. I was quite delighted by that. I am drinking some vile coffee this morning. Oh, from dark roast blends to a light coffee. Ugh. Just why did I do this to myself? So yeah, it was just super cool. I really like these people. I mean, I guess you kind of have to. And yeah, I highly suggest if you haven't seen them, I would go check them out. And then this week we are announcing a little anthology action. I haven't told. Well, we kind of told people we let the cat out of the bag a little bit, but we are going to be doing. Which thank you, audience viewers. I need to post that page to the author group. So we are going to be doing a romance anthology, which isn't really my area of expertise when it comes to ooh, we have a guest star.
Oh, yeah. How are things?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too bad.
Trish will be joining us shortly.
Yeah.
Apparently, she needs to eat breakfast. I don't know what that's about.
It's like the day where everything is kind of like shuffled backwards. Where you're like, yeah, I'm used to being up early, but that's not going to happen. Even though you could get done so much stuff.
What's the weather like where you are right now?
It's all overcast, and it's like drizzly off and on. So it's not like a good walk day.
Yeah, I definitely. Why am I even awake?
Yeah. After like yesterday was so nice where I am. It's like, oh, it's perfect.
I sat outside on the steps of a friend, or like on her patio, and we were outside for like from 8 to 10, and it was cold enough that you were like, oh, I want a fire, but it was like perfect.
Oh yeah.
It almost felt like fall yesterday.
Yeah, that's like the joke. I saw somebody posted something where it was like New England, Springtime lasts until noon, summer from noon to 6 p.m., and then winter is 6 p.m. to midnight. It's like, yeah.
I went for a walk yesterday, and it was cool enough and breezy enough that I got back and I was like, I'm not all sweaty. Maybe I should have walked more. it was perfect. I can't argue.
Yeah, I hope we have a lot more of that soon, because I can get used to that.
But I'm sure it'll go, promptly to 85 by midweek.
Yeah, I'm holding off putting like air conditioners in and stuff because I just don't want it to be like sweltering, but I want it to be nice.
The one nice thing about where I am now is we have those ductless heater AC units. And the heat for them is not great because it's blowing hot air, but it's blowing air at you, so you're still cold. But come summertime, I can run it for like 10 minutes and my house will stay like a nice 63 no matter what.
Oh, so good.
So my big news, this is not really big news. I've been running Facebook ads, and yesterday I've had multiple days where I've gotten, if you include my read through, I've had a positive ROI, but yesterday I had a positive ROI on only the sales of that day.
Oh wow.
So, and I'm not spending little money. I'm spending pretty good money right now. So
yes, it's like you expect like it's got to do something.
But my book is in the top 100 in 3 categories again. And one category it's in the top 20. Mal Cooper is the one who's in my way. She has 5 books. Damn her.
That's awesome.
So now I'm going to be doing some tweaks in the next couple days, and I think I can get that number to a very comfortable number of ongoing profit, at least for the short term.
Yeah, that's like the dream.
Since January, my sales have sucked. I've made more money in the last, I mean, take out the ad part, but I made more money in the last 6 days than I have in like 3 months. Like, it's kind of depressing.
Yeah, it's been very weird. Like, I don't know, like the genres that I have. It's like I had like a weird uptick on my like zombie book that I did. That's a choose your own adventure. And then that was like the very first couple weeks, and then it's like nothing for that. So it's like, oh, whatever. Okay. But it's very like up and down. I don't know. Everyone's just going through phases with their reading.
Well, I listened to a podcast yesterday where Alex from K-Lytics did the ebook report since COVID started, and ebooks are like through the roof right now. We're seeing like unprecedented growth,
which is nice because there was a little gap of time last year where they were like, the ebook has not come as far as we thought when Kindle first started and Kobo and all those.
Though I feel every time I hear that argument, I always have to go look at where they're pulling their data from, and you're like, oh yeah, you're pulling it from trad publishers who have a $17.99 ebook.
Yeah, those are few and far between for me as a purchase. I have to really love them to really be like, yeah, I want this in digital.
I don't think I've ever bought an ebook over. Well, Nonfiction I'll buy more expensive, but fiction I don't think I've ever spent over $4.99 on a book
I'll
since I've
spend
had.
$10 if it's like something really good that I know that I want. But
My nonfiction purchases can go. There's a book that I'm staring at right now that's $69, and I'm like,
oh,
I really want it in my collection.
in
But like,
digital, or
yeah,
it's
just it's only
in
available
digital?
in digital, and
Oh my gosh.
it's such like a niche book that there is no other book that covers the topic. So I'm just staring at it like, I hate you.
Yeah, it's like supply and demand, or like in this case, it's like, oh, there is no competitor, so we can charge what we want, and you either do it or you don't.
And I'm wondering if this book is also used as a textbook, because I mean it's on that level. So um, you know, you look at the digital textbook and you're like, oh, the physical book is $200. The digital book
Oh,
is $199.
oh no. But don't worry, it comes with extra PDF worksheets.
Yeah, like on a book that I may or may not read for class.
Yeah. Oh boy.
In college, I went my junior and senior year without buying any of the textbooks because they were used so little.
Wow. Ugh. Like that my I feel like my junior or senior year of college was when the keyboard Kindle came out, and I wish it had come out way earlier, because now that I look back, all my writing courses use public domain books, but they forced you to buy the like Penguin Classics for like $50 each. And I'm like,
Oh,
now I can download all these for free because they are public domain and they've been beautifully updated with nice covers on the Kindle store or anywhere else. It's like,
and then
man,
I have a friend who works for Penguin, and his job is actually taking all the classics that they have and just remaking the covers over and over again. It's the same interior,
yeah, it
but
totally is.
new edition.
For the people that love covers.
I,
Pride and Prejudice or whatever, the Charles Dickens collection.
I'm not ever going to be that person.
No, I got rid of basically. I used to collect like Dickens and stuff like that just because I like it. But I basically, when I did my book purge, like the public domain books were the first things to go. I think I kept like the Sherlock Holmes in leather that I had got at like a thrift
Ew.
store.
I could see
But
why.
yeah, so I kept those, but it's like most of them are like paperbacks with, and like you just don't need them. They're huge because they were made before television was around. So it's like you're gonna watch them. This is gonna be your month binge of the Pickwick Papers or whatever.
I I stopped collecting books just because I had moved around so much between college and where I am now that it got like there were so many books going into the library back and forth that I couldn't rationalize paying movers or making like 3 car trips just for books
No.
where my iPad fits in my pocket.
Yeah, and it's come such a long way. Like I use my iPad with the Kindle. I have the Paperwhite, but I also love the like all the apps for the Apple Store where it's like, oh, the Kindle book, and it looks beautiful when you like display it as like double page.
Oh,
It's like the page animation, and I have like a matte screen, so it's like, yes, this is like beautiful.
and I just downloaded a Wonder Woman comic onto my iPad through Kindle, and it's through Comixology.
Mhm.
Um, the only thing that is weird about it is in the Marvel app, you flip like you would this way, whereas in the Kindle, you just can do a continuous scroll, which makes way more sense when you think about it, because you're still reading top to bottom. Uh,
Mhm.
So that was like the only weird thing. But the Wonder Woman comic is 6 issues and it cost me $5.99.
Oh wow. That's
I
like
was
the
like,
cost of one and
oh,
a half physical issues of the paper.
and it's I'm reading this particular story because it has no tie-in to anywhere else in the universe. It's just before the New 52 reboot. Um, and so I mean the art's beautiful. I don't understand half the storyline, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, I'm I don't know about you. I'm out of it today. I feel like I'm nursing a hangover.
Well, yesterday I like ate too much. Like we had barbecue because it was that nice night. So I was like, yeah, I'll have extra. I went to bed being like, oh my gosh, every time I roll over, my body is full to capacity of chicken and everything.
So I ordered groceries yesterday from Target, and I get them delivered still because I'm super paranoid about the universe. And the only thing I was excited about was I wanted an oven pizza, and I haven't had chips in like 2.5 weeks because I've been trying to be healthy. And I was like, oh, you know, I'll make that pizza. And then I ate it and I was like, oh my God, that was so much food. I shouldn't have done it. And then like I went and hung out with my neighbor last night and I like took the chips with me and I was like, I've been waiting for these for weeks. And then by the end of the bag, I was like, one, that's a family size, and two, this is not going to bode well. So this morning, I decided to skip weighing in because it's just not going to go well.
Oh, it's so tempting to just like eat a bag of chips for a meal. Like even when I'm at my day job work desk, like we're all used to having our little like hidden stashes of like snacks. So it's like, I just want those Doritos really bad. And you're like, I'm only gonna have a little bit. And then like an hour later, you're like, oh, like the entire bag is almost gone because I just keep reaching for it and I don't stop myself.
I will be the first one to say I have no problem like eating well. Like I still eat good stuff and I enjoy it, but I have uh no self-control. So I'm like, I'll just have one brownie. And then I realize I haven't eaten today except for brownies.
I did the same thing except for coffee where I make like an entire pot and I'm like, by the time I get to noon, it's like, why am I so jittery and like feeling like I have to jump up and run around? Oh, I didn't eat anything. I only drank coffee and it filled me up.
I the reason I had to do the Target order because I was out of coffee. And so I was like, okay, I've been drinking the same coffee for like 6 months. I'll get a couple different kinds. And I got like a light blend. Oh, I'm so just drinking it because I have it now. It's so gross. I don't particularly like coffee taste,
Is it
but
one of those like flavored where it's like vanilla bean something?
it's the Starbucks early blend, so it's just a much lighter coffee. And
Oh,
I used mocha creamer, thinking that that would cover it up, and it did not. It's
no.
so gross.
Starbucks is so hit or miss, even though it's so popular.
I just like the K cups because the Sumatra is like a good spicy dark. You really can't go too wrong.
No, that one's a good one.
So, what are you working on today?
I am moving forward on my sci-fi future superhero book uh in
In
the
the
like way future.
universe?
Yeah, it's same universe and I'm like tying it all in. So it's kind of like far enough ahead where the characters are talking about a revival of the hero force that I've been building in my my first series. So it's like they've been gone for a long time because basically it just like disbanded. And now they're like, finally, we have a chance to come back together. And it's like the future is like way different.
I kind of like using the time jump, especially if you're in sci-fi,
Mhm.
because you can be like, well, this horrible thing happened, and now we're in a whole kind of different era, and you know, I feel like it's just it gives you a chance to do a soft reboot while still
Mhm.
using the world you've established.
Yeah, it feels very refreshing and it's been like flowing pretty nicely. And I'm trying to like stretch myself by doing like decent world building because this is the first one where I'm like sort of making up stuff instead of relying on here's how the world actually works and just make everything fit within.
Oh yeah, I had to do a lot of political stuff for mine. Like
Is this for your alternate history
yeah.
one? Yeah.
So the I knew there's two defining moments that I rewrite history and I had to look at how it changed. And thankfully both of them have been so exhausted in research that what would happen if Hitler had died on, and there's websites that will tell you each individual day, if that had been the day he died, how it would have altered World War II. Thank you, crazy people. I needed that.
Yeah.
Um, and then uh, my character will eventually save JFK. So I had to research like his foreign policies because it leads into Vietnam. But what I realized is people honored so many of his policies that even had he lived just for that one term, it wouldn't have changed anything. Um, so, but then like in the series that takes place in like 12 years, the president has been the president for 8 terms. Like, how does that happen? Like, world civ class in high school did not prepare me to ask like those type of questions.
Yeah.
And some people roll with it really with no problem, and they're just like, this is the world he made, I accept it, let's move on. And other people want like the entire socioeconomic backhaul of information. Like, that's a boring book.
Yeah,
Just
I'm working really hard on being better at like sprinkling information where it is warranted instead of just like dumping it somewhere because it's like it's difficult for like stories like these where you're trying to like bring the audience in and they have to know certain things and you don't want it to be so overwhelming because like I know when I read just a page of backstory for something I'm like oh no, so it's like I have to catch myself so I don't do the same stupid thing to mine.
um that was actually, I just recorded a video for my students talking about how if you spend an entire paragraph explaining something that does not progress the plot, it's an
Mhm.
info dump. If you info dump, I put your book down. And it was like the author couldn't find any creative way to include this information, so they're expecting me to take notes and remember this chunk of info.
Yeah,
Um, the other weird, do you ever address the audience in your book?
like how so?
Like you, like you know
uh
that time that or you know how like this thing is this way.
I don't really I feel like I actively avoid using the word you in my stuff unless it's like a first person and it's like the character is telling their story to the audience. I still don't like I only like it at the beginning unless you're doing like a very tongue-in-cheek comedy.
Yeah, like if you were, so like my Suburban Zombie High book, they address the audience all the time. Like there is no fourth wall. Like you are literally being talked at sometimes. Like,
Mhm.
there are moments when the scene freezes and they get up on stage and start spouting their worldviews. Like, it's meant to be, those moments where the character looks at the camera and just gives you baffled looks.
Yeah.
But in other books, if you have to address me to drag me into the story, it feels like a really unsuccessful way to like grab my arm and try and pull me in. Like,
Yeah. Mm. I like to have my characters like be reacting to or giving their opinions on like different chunks of information to make you feel more like organic. Where it's like, oh boy, here we go with this, and I hate this, and then you're like, your character hates it, and you're also telling the audience like, hey, this is a rule they have to follow, and they really don't enjoy it.
yeah, I definitely think that there's a way to massage it into the plot that feels more organic than, hey, you, by the way.
Unless it was like, I just like the comedy where it's like, as you well remember, and it's like over the top, and I'm like, I appreciate that. That's
Well,
makes
and
it fun.
I did have one student who um she talks to herself in her head. You are the voice in her head in the novel. And so she'll constantly be like, oh yeah, you remember when that happened? And she's addressing herself, but you're the you. And it's done in such a consistent manner that I feel like I'm inside her head and she's talking at me. Like, there are moments where she verbally abuses herself and you realize she's verbally abusing you, and it makes it funny. Um, but the character is like dialed up to a 12 at all times. Um, so there are moments where I think it can work, just not in my stories.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to sprint?
I'll do one. Yeah. I got my music.
Sprint for 20 at 30. See if the bot's working today. It's been a little fussy as of late. I can't add 20. At some point, come on, bot. Are you not working?
It's really taking a vacation.
At some point, would you be up for meeting with Trish and I?
Yeah.
And we'll discuss podcast stuff. I'm actually meeting with her husband and the guy who runs the RPG type game that they're playing. We're meeting tonight to talk about that. So, yay, stuff is happening.
Cool.
And I just posted the open call for the romance anthology.
Ooh.
We'll see how that pans out. Oh, look. The bot is actually working. And here is Trish. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
All right. Just made it.
I have to run downstairs at the sprint, so I have no idea what I'm even writing today.
Where are you at with your new series?
I skipped the final battle and now I'm writing the aftermath.
That is legit, man.
I really wanted to kill this character and it was so gratifying. The death of the big bad, who cares? The death of the love interest, satisfying.
Wow.
He
That's
goes
so
out a
good.
hero, kind of, so he gets redeemed, but it doesn't end well for him. Spoiler alert.
Aw.
All right, sprint is on. In time.
Dun, 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 dun.
$398. I finished killing the kid.
The kid is dead.
That's what you get for sticking up for the person you love.
I'm imagining that scene from Team America at the beginning where the love interest dies and the girl is just like yelling, "No!" as the camera just like pulls away.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
It's so outrageous.
Every
didn't realize
time
I was still
hear the
muted.
phrase montage.
But you
From
need-
Team America.
Yeah.
we just fill it up with a montage.
Okay, to register the word count on the Discord.
You need the exclamation point in the beginning.
Okay, that's what I was kind of wondering. All right.
Otherwise, you got it.
All right.
Yeah, I did that mistake as well, and then was like, "Why is nothing working?"
I know. I'm like, what? Why is Riderbot ignoring me?
You missed it the
It
other
just
day.
doesn't like
Firebot
it.
broke completely. And,
Oh God, you guys broke her. You broke her.
She shared with 22,000 other writers.
Jesus.
Wow.
And so she gets overwhelmed. And eventually I was like, okay, now we have Jeremy Bot. Everyone, go write.
Craziness.
There are levels?
Yep.
Holy crap.
It doesn't really do anything. So if you look at come on. Oh, wait.
How much do you have to get? How much do you have to do to raise up a level?
I think it's super arbitrary, to be honest.
You went up 2 levels, Franklin.
Oh,
oh no, Franklin's catching up to me.
I didn't get any level, apparently. My 631 words are too paltry for that shit.
I think it's once you cross your first 1,000, you get level 1.
So I was gonna do revising, and I go into the scene that I left off on Friday, and I'm like, don't really know where I was going with this. So I'm going to go to my short story because I need to write my short story too.
I need to write my epilogue, and then I can write the end, even though, it's 10,000 words. And then I think I'm going to go back into revising because I need another book 1.
I am Sat Cold seriously just really screwed me up. I should be almost ready for proofing, and I haven't even had my developmental edit yet. So I'm sweating. I am sweating.
When's it due?
What?
When's it due?
The pre-order, it goes. It's supposed to go live August 15th. I think is what.
Oh, okay. So you still got plenty of time.
I do, but I don't know. I'm wigged. I like a good cushion. I don't know.
You haven't lived until you upload a book 2 minutes before the deadline.
Oh no!
Dude, I can't live like that, man. I wish I knew where I was going with this because it looked really good. And I'm like, why didn't I make a note? Like, this is what happens next. I should have made a freaking note.
I have now uploaded 2, if not 3 books on the day before, the window closes.
Oh, my God. No, I have never done that. The closest I ever came was a week before. It's, how, they have the due date, it's 4 or 5 days before your pre-order, before it goes live. So I think the closest I've ever come is a week before that deadline. That's the closest.
My book 4, I got the final edits from the editor 2 days before.
Oh, really?
And I had to stay up until 2 a.m. editing, got up early, edited all day, and then I finished at 11:50. Like, I formatted and had it uploaded at 11:58.
I could not do that. I would be crying. I'm gonna go get coffee. I'll be right back.
Good luck.
That's like that's like the writer edition of that, like 48-hour film fest. Write and shoot and edit a movie in 2 days.
So
edits in 2 days.
I have officially, I'm not using the same editor again, and not she did a fine job, but in one of the emails I was like, dude, you've had this for over a month. Like, this is a 4-day edit. What's going on? And so, you know, you get whatever standard excuses you get. Every editor has had a death in the family all the time. And then she goes, well, if worse comes to worse, you can always push back. No. You are not telling me how to do my business plan. You are delivering it.
It's a game to get all yet. It costs 250 butterflies.
But yeah, when the editor told me that, I was like, you're canned. Sorry. Just
it's like,
project.
Like, I'm paying you and I need this to, like, in a reasonable time.
And it wound up being, I got she gave me some of the edits early, so it was, you know, she was giving me chunks, but it was still almost 35 days past the due date.
That's crazy.
And what I think actually happened is, I think she picked up another client that had a faster due date, and she thought she could pull off both. Which, you know, you do what you got to do, but you just cost yourself, you know, $3,000 worth of future edit.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I don't like everything waiting to the last possible minute.
I'm okay with me to the last possible moment because I can control me. But when other people fudge up my plans,
yeah, it's like doing a professional group project. You're like, come on, like, I did my part. I need your part. I can't do it.
And my artist, it was his first time ever doing book cover, though he struggled with how fast the timeline was. But I had built in like a 30-day buffer for him. But my last book had to go on pre-order, which I didn't tell anyone about the pre-order. I didn't want anyone to know about it. I didn't do anything for it, but I had to put it up with a blank cover, which was fine. But I don't want to do that either.
You should just make like a stock thing, like the big publishers do, where it's like cover not final to be revealed, and make it feel like it's like a big thing. What is it going to be? It's not really a mystery. I just don't have it yet.
Yeah, we're going to play it up as this is intentional.
Yeah, always make it look intentional.
So this time I haven't even finished writing, and I'm already buying the covers. So I think
having a cover is good motivation for finishing up projects.
Well, and then what I would like to have before book 1 even goes to pre-order, because I haven't listed it, I haven't put it up for pre-order, I haven't done anything. Before that one even goes up, I want the third book to already be with the editor, to have the cover art drafts coming in, and that way I want this series release to be 100% on me at that point, with no other involvement. And I'm going to try and get my audiobooks made early, but audiobook can kiss my ass right now.
ACX is so backed up. Everybody's talking about it. Like, nothing is getting done.
And this was before COVID happened. So ACX is using this as a smokescreen for why they're actually behind. My book went up before any shutdowns happened. We are now at like 68 days past the submission date.
Jeez.
Wow.
What have they said?
I'm going to read it to you because this is how annoyed I get. I'm happy to look into the status of Night Covenants. Please be aware that we are currently experiencing a higher than normal volume of submissions, and we currently estimate that it may take up to 30 days for your audiobook to reach the retailer. My email literally says we are at 65 days. And
they didn't even read it.
Form letter.
Like that's really sad because I have people that I know that are like sound people, and they were like, yeah, now is the time to start looking into audio. And I'm like, you're right, but if it's just going to get hung up for months, then like what's the point? It's just going to sit on my desktop or my hard drive waiting with just me.
So I was advertising my box set. My box set doesn't have an audiobook with it. The reason for that is my series is first book is royalty share. The rest of them were purchased outright. So I reached out to my narrator who literally lives on the other side of town. And I was like, this is what I'm interested in doing. I'd like to buy out your contract. And that way I can make a box set for the ebook box set. And so she comes back and she gives me a number that is super reasonable. So she'll essentially make her money per finished hour. And then all the money that she's made from the sales is basically gravy. So it's a costly mistake, but it's a fair mistake. And so then I'll be able to do the box set for that. Because I changed my advertising from the box set to book one, and I'm looking at my sales yesterday, and I was like, "Oh man, my ads were within $3 of my spend. Like I'm so close to tuning this in." And then I went and looked at my ebook and my audiobooks. What do you know? I sold a crap ton of audiobooks yesterday.
Yep.
So it's all working. So by being able to have that, I bet you I can peddle a lot more audiobooks it'll wind up being like 26 hours, 28 hours. So again, I keep finding like every time I've sourced something out to someone, it is costing me money to get it back. And I want everything back.
I did not have a choice. I had to do royalty share.
And when I did my first book, I had to do royalty share. There was no option. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah. I did finally find a really good narrator, like after having to let my first narrator go for just, that was bad. I was really despairing, like I'm never going to find somebody because I really couldn't do anything up front, like a minuscule amount of money as kind of an upfront stipend. And everybody that I wanted that had really good samples up and were professional, like they all wanted like $1,000 up front. And, which, okay, reasonable. Like you're taking a risk with doing royalty share. I completely get it. I just don't have it.
Yeah.
And the last audition I got back is the one. She's working on the first 15 minutes right now, and all she asked for was $300 upfront stipend. And I was like, oh my God, yes. Her audition was amazing. And it was professional sounding. There was no crackling. There was no echoing. Like I got back some auditions and I was like, did you record this in your bathroom? Like, oh my God, you're supposed to be trying to get me to hire you. And this is just...
And you might want to ask the question in like the SPF group or 20 books and ask, if all 3 books are royalty share, can you then do a box set of royalty share? That's what I don't know.
That's a really good question.
I know you can't do it if it's mixed, but I don't know if you can. It would make sense if you could do royalty share, because then it's just another product that you guys are splitting.
Yeah.
So I'll have all of this back, and then my narrator, because she got furloughed and she's not going back until Christmas at the earliest.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she is a narrator for the blind, so she reads like textbooks, and she does a really good straight read, which is what I personally like. Some people hate it, but screw them. So she's upping from $50 per finish hour, which is, you know, like the friend version. And she was like, for your next project, because they're shorter, can we go to 100? And I said yes, but that means if I do this, I have to pay for all 3 books up front, because I don't think releasing a 70,000 word audiobook is going to sell.
Well, how many hours is like a 70,000 word book for like audio? And then on like
hours.
I feel like as an audio listener, I'm like totally spoiled because I'm used to just spending credits on like it's gotten to a point where I'm like, now I've gone through so many sales where I'm like, oh, I did the like get 2 for $5 or whatever of like random sci-fi series I'm looking for, but now I like spent my credit on like a sci-fi series because I was like, you know what, let's just do against the norm and just go to the sci-fi tab, see what is listed, see what there is, and find something new, and stop looking at my wish list that I've looked at for months and I've never clicked buy. And I picked like the one series that was like, it's books 1 through 16 all in one thing, and I'm like, 85 hours. Yes, you get you get my thing. And it's like all the reviews are like, I wish I had waited for this to come out because I bought like 2 of them individually, and now I'm like got the whole box. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of on the user side. It's like, you hope to catch it when like if your trilogy was all in one, because then it seems like more value.
So that's why, you know, if these books are only 7 hours each, I don't see someone wanting to use their credit for that. But if it was a 21-hour box set, now we're back into the realm of consideration. At least my book 1 of my superhero series is 10 hours. And then all of them are around 9 to 10 hours. So, you know,
that's reasonable, I think.
It's reasonable. But if I dangle a 20-something hour, I think that would be a much easier audiobook sale. So I think when I start doing my Facebook ads, I'll do Facebook ads for the box set, but I'm not really advertising the ebook. I'm advertising the page reads and the audiobook.
For indie books, do they still do the like, if you buy the Kindle book, you can get the like Whisper Sync for like a discount? I wonder how much, like, even if they're still available individually as they're like shorter audiobooks, I wonder how much buy through there is on like, I bought the ebook for like $3, $4, and I got the audio for like $7 instead of like whatever it is, the $20 that they charge.
I know some people will go buy a box set ebook that, you know, is $4.99 or $6.99, so that they can get the audio book down to like $7 instead of the $30 it would have cost otherwise.
Yeah. All the technical nerd behind the scenes talk of how does this all work?
But it, again, if they're not willing to put your book out, then yay, you have a property sitting there doing nothing.
I have to admit, I'm super nervous. I mean, I gave my narrator like a really long, I think it's probably too long, but after last time, I kind of wanted to give the narrator more time since they couldn't finish when they were supposed to. And I am a little nervous that when she's done, it's still not going to be fixed. Like the backlog is still going to be there. I really wanted an audiobook out by September.
I always give my narrator a month. It always takes 2 months. And like we both know that. Like we talk regularly. So but she is super consistent in like the lines of communication. She'll even say like, hey, I'm doing she does a narration for theater for blind students. So like the students will go to the theater and she does the narration for it. And she'll be like, I'm doing that for the next 3 weeks. So you won't really hear anything from me. Okay. I'm already 2 weeks behind you. So sold.
Oh, crazy.
I'm at that point in my book, in my revisions, where I'm like, this is crap. This is a steaming pile of crap. It's not going to get any better. I don't know what I'm doing. This is crap. I'm just going to keep going. What?
It's so difficult because, like, I feel like I go through that on every single freaking project because I'm so close to it, but then I show it to somebody who is usually super critical and they're like, I really enjoyed this. And I'm like, are you lying? And they're like, no, I actually did. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. I just have to trust you. But it's like, when you read it back yourself, occasionally I get the parts where I'm like, did I really write this? I'm impressed. But most of the time it's like, is this really enough? Like, is somebody going to read this? Because I got one review one time where someone was like, it's kind of like reading a script with like a couple of descriptors. And like, ever since then, I'm like, do I put enough description? Am I really just writing a bunch of dialogue? Like, so it's always in the back of my head.
This is like the revisions, moving stuff around and cutting things and new scenes. I mean, I'm like, it's slow. There's nothing happening. I need a fight scene here somewhere. Oh, look, there's a fight scene there that's going to go there, but it's not enough. And is there enough threat? And I just don't even know. And I know if I sit here and I worry it in my head, I'm never going to I'm never going to write. I'm never going to revise. So it's like, okay, just revise the damn thing. And then you can go back and like, you know, Dan, my husband is my developmental editor, because he's really good. Like, people tell you not to work with a spouse, but that's been our entire relationship, is like critiquing each other's artistic endeavors. So I trust him. And he always will tell me, okay, it's slow here. There's not enough threat here. There's not enough, you know, he will let me know that. So it's like, all right, just get it done, get it to him, get another set of eyes on it. Because like you said, you're so close to it at this point. You're just like, I have no idea. Like, I got nothing.
Yep.
Are we doing another sprint?
We probably should.
12:30.
Let me update that. Let's do.
I feel like that's why all the old-timey authors all drank, because that was the only way to shut off their critic that's like, this is total garbage. But then the more you drink, the more you're like, this isn't half bad.
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to do 115 to 135.
Perfect.
Nice.
Or for those of you on the West Coast watching or participating, 10:15.
Probably add the ESD on there at some point.
That's okay. People can figure it out themselves.
Yep.
I just assume the whole universe is on the East Coast. Everyone lives like in Florida.
All right, I'm just going to skip that one scene. At this point, I'm like, you know what? I had no idea how I planned to end that. So we're just going to make a note and we're going to move on, because I'm not staring at it for the next 30 minutes trying to figure it out. I'm just going to move on.
Yeah, just cycle back.
Yeah. People think this is like such a glamour. Oh, you write novels. I'm like, yeah, it's not what you think it is. It's a lot of crying and thinking that you suck.
Oh my gosh. really quickly, my mom one time, she was very critical for a while, being like, why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you producing more? I know you can do it. And then she works at a school, and they had a presentation for the elementary school kids with a young adult writer. This was a traditional published person. And she said, yeah, writing a book for me can take like 6 months to a year. And after that, my mom was like, I'm so sorry for rushing you. I didn't know it took so long. And I was like, yeah, sometimes it comes and sometimes it doesn't.
And we are off.
Writerbot says there is no active sprint.
I refuse to be.
In the butt.
Do a couple spaces and then just keep track of how much you
Yeah. Well, this revising, it's like I don't really have a word count. All right,
Yeah.
I'm muting and I'm gonna go ahead and okay.
There we go. I got the sprint to work.
All right.
Muting. Talk to you guys later in 20.
All righty.
Time. Franklin Roosevelt died at a very inconvenient time for my story. And it's weird. His wife is Eleanor Roosevelt, and my main character is an Eleanor. So,
oh boy!
Did you know that Franklin Roosevelt married his cousin?
I did not.
Random factoid. I am writing the epilogue where she gets thanked for basically getting Hitler killed.
I keep forgetting I have my mic muted, and I'm like, why are they talking over me? So rude.
Just be louder than her.
I am so discombobulated today. I mean, it's like a day off for Dan and the girls because it's Memorial Day, but I'm like, it does not feel like a 3-day weekend because, you know, it's just another day stuck in the house. And also I'm like, yeah, but I do have to get some work done, so I don't get the day off.
The college doesn't have holidays because it's all online. So I still have to do the work I have to do, but it's nice because now the workload that would typically happen on a Monday gets split between Monday and Tuesday. So I still have a whole bunch of stuff to do for tomorrow, but that meant my Sunday wasn't like, oh my God, all these things must happen now. I'm kind of liking where the story is ending, and as I'm writing the epilogue, I'm like, oh, maybe I want to just go on and write the next trilogy in this series. So I guess that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. I think I figured out a couple of possible female protagonists for the romance series for next year. Very excited about that.
I am I'm kind of up in the air on a couple of things for the romance. I know the premise. From my short story, it all starts because a dude joins a support group for people with powers that, you know, don't really want them and don't want to cope with them. So I'm going to use the support group as the vehicle for the series, and that's how all the characters get introduced. But I don't know how super I want to make them. Like, like there needs to be a little something, but I don't know what the plot's going to be. Just this genre concept.
I'm kind of struggling with who has powers, who doesn't, and I'm really liking. I'm reading Lana's Deadly Seven romance series, and I'm really liking how she has villains for each one, but she also has this overarching bad, like, syndicate basically that they're going to have to defeat by the end. And I really like that, and I'm like, I would love to do something like that for it because I feel like it would keep tension on, and it would be another reason for people to keep reading. Besides, oh, you know, what's the romance going to be like in the next book, kind of a thing. So I'm trying to figure out kind of a simplified way to do that because romance can't be like really super long books. So I need it to be really simple within my world. So.
Well, and I'm debating, do I want the antagonist of the story, whatever it is, do I want it to be a super related antagonist, or do I want it to be a situational antagonist, or do I just want it to be like a mundane, like, you know, one of them is going to be a teacher at a school, like, is the principal or whoever their supervisor or whatever is just kind of a douche that they have to survive through. Like, I don't know how super I want to make the plot right now.
Yeah. I got to play around with that a bit myself and see.
Yeah, I would like to have it outlined. I would like to have 2 series outlined coming up. The romance, which I don't think I'm gonna try and do a fast release for. I think I'm gonna, just let that one roll out. And then I want whatever my next series is going to be. And I don't know if I want to continue the superhero sci-fi stuff or if I want to do the prequel. There's one more trilogy between the series I'm writing right now and where it catches up to the rest of the plot. I'm trying to think about, because I think it was, who was I talking to? Oh, I was talking to Justin. His Jamie Hawk series are all like the superhero erotica stuff, and he has so many series that they all have different entry points. But he said after a while he started losing readers because they got tired of no one wants an entry point that isn't what you think is the beginning. They all want number one. They want a simplified reading order. And he's like, that's not how this is built. It's built so it's all in the same universe and there's a bunch of entry points. But apparently his readers don't like that. They want, here's book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so that's why he's kind of taking a pause with it, because he doesn't want to add on to any of the existing series.
I'm actually thinking I want to talk to Lana and Krista about the romance genre, because I mean I'm setting it in my same universe, so I don't have to use a pen name. I can more than likely use my same mailing list because there are romantic elements in my other books, but I am wondering if I need maybe a sub list within my subscribers that are people that are like, yeah, I love romance, I read romance, because I feel like romance readers are kind of a separate, they're a separate entity. They expect different kinds of interaction. They expect different kinds of in particular with a newsletter, I feel like in order to really make it work, I feel like I have to have a sub list of just dedicated romance readers. So I want to pick Lana and Krista's brain and see if my instincts are correct or if I'm just making it too difficult or what.
My problem is if I have to do anything second, I'm just going to scrap the series. If I have to do a second anything, second persona, pen name, social media, newsletter, anything, the whole thing is getting scrapped. I just don't have the time to have a second career within my own writer.
I'm definitely not doing a pen name. I asked a couple of romance writers in a different group I'm in, and they were like, no, just use your same name. It's fine. But I'm curious if I need to reach out to romance readers in particular. Does that make sense? Like dedicated romance readers in order to make this work.
I would definitely reach out to them. But for me, I think my mailing list, I would treat it as my mailing list is the hybrid of where all those happy things overlap. Because I can barely get out one a month. There's no way I'm going to try and do a second newsletter of any kind.
I don't really mind it. A romance newsletter actually feels kind of easy and simple to me, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of it the wrong way, but I mean, I guess that's just what I want to know. Like, I want to know, can I keep them all together? Can I have romance readers that I pull into my list that are just part of my regular list, or do I need to make like a sub list? Do I need to give them a certain kind of content in order to keep them interested? So that's kind of what I'm going to be asking Lana and Krista, and just to kind of see like what they think, since they are writing in it. They know a lot more about those readers than I do at this point. So I don't want to do the series and put it out there and expect that I can just oh, they're just going to read it and my readers are going to love it, when that I might need to do some work up front to bring those readers into my newsletter funnel.
I'm not going to do any pre-work for it. I'm going to retarget all my efforts to romance for the series. But I like the idea of building up a second list of those people is just, I don't got it.
Well, and I might not either, but I just want to make sure if it's something that would be kind of needed. I don't know. I want to have my expectations managed, if that makes sense.
Thankfully, my majority of my fans are good crossover people, so I know I still have them. That will really depend on how saucy it gets.
I might just do an in-newsletter like poll too. Like, if I was to publish a romance first superhero series, how many of you would be dying to get your hands on it? And just kind of gauge the interest that way.
I did a poll. It was a little while ago, but it was, what do you want me to write next? The Eleanor series, I had an Academy idea, which fits right into the universe. I have an international, more sci-fi, and the Eleanor, by hands down, won out. Something they're familiar with. And then the sci-fi definitely took the lead. So
yeah,
I kind of feel obligated to do it because they want more of some of the characters that have already been seen. But damn it.
Yeah, I was reading a book last night on craft, and the writer said to treat the project that you don't feel like you want to do, but you should do, as like an arranged marriage, and just like learn to love it and like make it interesting for whatever you got to do. So whether it's like to make quirky your characters, like, I don't know.
And I can,
good piece of advice.
Even if I don't care for a plot, I can love a character. If I don't love a character, I can love a plot. Like, there's always something that, or if I'm not really happy with that, then I'll find something that makes me excited to do it.
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry, hold on.
I could write My Little Pony fanfic, and I could find something that I would be excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people who are like, yeah, I only write this. Well, do you only write it because that's what you like? Because you can put, like, Alien is like my favorite movie because it's horror in space opera. Like, it married two genres in such a beautiful way that you can drag elements into whatever you want.
Yeah, there's always a way to like twist it a little bit, and I feel like that's what keeps it like fresh.
And I feel it keeps us from going kind of, repeating the same story over and over, or yeah, the romance one, I have a lot of, like shower time thinking, just where you just kind of like, okay, sure. Like, I need to plot out like the big concepts, because the rest of it, like, sure. No problem.
Yeah.
The big sci-fi series, I'm kind of excited because I have the Queen of England waging war on London. I've discovered that one of my things is I only like to write in places I've been to. because I can pull like firsthand experiences out of it.
Yeah, it's also a good excuse to like travel because you can
Oh
be
yeah,
like, traveling for reason.
that was a tax write-off.
Oh yeah,
The whole thing. My accountant was like, "Really?" And I was like, "It's in the book. Like, I can back this up."
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um. Man, I am slowing. I guess I'm slowing down because it's the end of the book.
That can do it.
I want it over.
I hung at the end of my second lit RPG book that I haven't published yet, where I was like, I know it's pretty much done, and finally I just had to be like, I'm not going to write that epilogue. It's just done.
Okay, so I got some questions for you for lit RPG because I love the concept.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like, what are the reader expectations when it comes to game mechanics inside the novel?
There's two different like extremes. There's the audience that wants all the stats in like spreadsheet form, like periodically throughout the chapters. Whenever anything happens, you add up the points they earn, and it's like clear that they're like, you need to have this to level up to this, and that's considered like the crunchy, like hardcore.
Okay.
And then there's other ones that are more like organic, where it starts out and you have all the stats, but then it kind of like fades into the background until it's really relevant. So it's not like every time your character walks around, they get points for walking. And it's like, that's a little overkill to me. So
I have in the serial that I'm writing, I created this thing called the Phantasm, where it's virtual reality. And so far she's only really used it as like escapism. Like, people use it to like go on vacation and, you know, go camping, but you're in a bed somewhere basically. So I've created the infrastructure for a lit RPG book. But like I am constantly thinking about the idea that someday my world will become an RPG. Like, I really, like, in the back of my head, I want a game version of my novels. So I'm trying to think like how I could tie that concept into this virtual reality concept and create almost the game of the novel, like in a weird meta way.
yeah.
But I don't know, like, I could absolutely make out character sheets that fit my universe. I could.
Yeah, as long as it is like, as long as they have to play by it. I don't know. It's really tricky because a lot of the popular ones get like slammed by people for being repetitive, and they can not feel like an organic story where like your character gets a certain level and then they're unstoppable, and then you just have to keep making unstoppable villains for them to go up against. But I don't know. It's like a fine line to walk, at least for me.
Is this lit RPG? What are we? Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I was saying,
I try to tie it all in, but
I built a mechanic into my universe where in my serial they have the ability to go virtual reality, and it taps into their nervous system. It's very Ready Player One style virtual universe. And I put that in there as a structure to someday have a lit RPG in my superhero universe. Franklin, how much of the book happens outside of the lit art, out of the construct?
My first like 3 chapters is the real world, and then my character and some family members get like sucked in through like a portal, and then the rest of it is all in the game until later on, which will be like in hopefully planned a couple of books when they are able to get out. So it's kind of like Tron for me,
Okay.
where it's like, I'm stuck here. I've got to find my way out. There's only one way out, and you just have to like work towards. So that's like the main overall. But yeah.
Do you guys want me to set up another sprint?
Oh yeah, if you want.
Okay.
I'm good for whenever.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely, that was a close tie between the next sci-fi series and doing a lit RPG version. So what I think I need to start doing is like break out a binder and start mapping out what all these stories could be, because I think I have like the next 3 years worth of writing stories all in this universe tying together. But yeah. Then you start thinking like, what is the buy through? What is the for this, and how will this?
Yeah, it's very different. It's like I don't know how much of it is just the climate right now or what, but like I did no promotion on my first one other than alerting like 2 small groups like, hey, here's my book, just so you know it's there. But because I only have 1 book, it's like now it's like the people that have read it, and there are people that read that genre that want like a 5-book minimum, and it's like I don't have that yet. So it's kind of like I'm holding off now, and I'm just like, I just gotta do what I do for everything else and just like start stockpiling installments so I can just make sure they are ready to go.
From my experience, lit RPG readers are like I'm gonna say they might even be more voracious than romance readers. Like they power drive through a whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did read some things where they were talking about like, how fast do you read to be able to read this many books in a week? And one guy was like, I've gotten to the point where I speed read and I skip over the extra words and I just get the gist of it. And I'm like, holy crap.
How do you even enjoy something? Like, I don't
know. They're like, I skip the words and whatever else. Like, and I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, part of me likes that about lit RPG because they are voracious readers and it's a good market. It's solid. It has a very tight knit. But at the same time, like they also have some of the biggest douche bros in the like assholes, just flat out assholes.
Yeah, it's very much like the man version of the romance readers where they're like, this didn't have werewolf shifters in it, so it's terrible. And it's like, this did not have a fantasy wizard doing blah, blah, blah. It's terrible. And it's like, there's so many flavors, so you can't just pick one. But you can like what you like.
So like I have the universe for it, so it's kicking around in my head, but just now I'm trying to make sound business decisions, not just write what I want to write.
Just like do a little bit extra on the side, and then when it is all added up, and you're like, it's done.
That's what
now.
my serial is. Serial is like 2,000 words every other week, and then I'm already at 35,000 words and I haven't finished the first of the 3 arcs that I want in it. But when it's ready, that shit's going out. It's making money. It's not sitting on a shelf. It's done. Good to go.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to hop in sprint.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry for doing it at a weird time. I thought it would like, whatever.
So artsy.
Completely random. I just checked my reader links because this is what I do every sprint. Someone just literally went through and bought my whole series. Score!
Yeah.
Okay, back to sprint. trying to convince Eleanor Roosevelt that there are psychics in the world.
She would totally believe that. I think she would totally believe that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on her. It's kind of fun in my story, though. I decided to basically do away with men.
What do you mean by that?
So, like, in part of the story, because, you know, the painting Nighthawks is a huge deal in the original series, and it's painted by Edward Hopper, and he sells it in New York to the Museum of Chicago. So he's in the story. I wrote him in as a character, except he plays no part whatsoever because his wife is actually the person who had the painting sold. And in her own right, she's an amazing painter and completely pushed aside by her husband's fame. So I was like, screw Edward Hopper. She's way more interesting. So she is a primary character in the story. And, you know, Franklin Roosevelt is the president, and they get summoned in the epilogue to go talk to the president because they stopped World War II, and, you know, it has ramifications. But instead of talking to the president, she is basically conducting business because he has he's about to have a cerebral hemorrhage and die.
Holy crap.
So yeah, the women are just way more interesting. Secret Lives.
I agree.
And I actually, originally, one of my characters was a young Haitian man, and I was like, why? Poof. You're now a Haitian woman who makes way more sense than my plot. So
there we go.
Nice.
I love it when that happens. You're like, this character is not ending up being the way that they started. I have so many characters like that.
My story, other than her father figure, who plays a really prominent role, is almost entirely dominated by women. And it's more interesting because women have a very expected role of them, so it's easier for them to break out of expectations. And I just love it more when, you know, they should be doing this, but that's not what they're going to do. I even got to put in Rosie the Riveter.
Did you really?
Yeah. There's not the Rosie, but a bunch of Riveters are in part of the book this time.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I definitely need to up the world building of World War II for this, but some of it made it in.
I am having a day.
I'm gonna have to go eat food because my stomach is making tons of noise.
Go do it. I think I'm probably at a stopping place, actually.
Okay, so I'm gonna end the broadcast and then.
Okay.